Shalom, call Halim La Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai Bashem Kakadash, the honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who rule and teach well. And since your Shalom to the 144,001 third, it's going to be a relatively short video through the Spirit. It's this paid opposition, Jake Andrew Tate, and he's definitely an Israelite, all right? But he's also a paid opposition. Okay, he's definitely in a good gracious small hats. Okay, in his Edomite hegemony, and he just gonna let him speak because he speaks facts here, and I got a few scriptures came to my head from listening to this video. All right, because I'll let the video talk, and then I'll get into my main point. All right.
First things first.
And I don't know if the audio is gonna come through because I got my headphones on. So let me see if I turn my headphones off just to play it safe.
Every single law on the planet is backed by one of these. A gun. Violence. There's no such thing as law. There's only violence. Law are pieces of paper. Laws are just words some dickhead typed. And I think that we should drive at 30 miles an hour. Why do people listen to that law? Because if you drive above 30 miles per hour, they give you a fine. And if you don't pay the fine, they put it up. And if you don't pay that, they send a bailiff to take your car. And if you hide your car or resist, they send police to take you to jail. And if you say I'm not going to jail, they wave a gun in your face. All laws are this. There's just paper in between it. International law, rules-based order, the United fucking Nations, DCAW, FBI, CIA, NSA, NYP, motherfucking D. Doesn't make a difference. It's all guns. That's law. Whoever has the most guns makes the law.
And what he said is correct, all right, from the standpoint that laws are backed by power. You understand? The Most High Yahweh is the most powerful entity, all right, in his existence. And he created laws, all right, the law, statutes, commandments. And guess what? When the Israelites broke the law, what happened? Deuteronomy 28 chapter, starting at the verse 15 on down. There you go. So guess what? All right, things are going to change on this earth. You already see it now, but guess what? You're going to have Israelites, okay, even the 2/3 are going to start rising up against these devils, against these heathen, because that's prophecy, okay? Jake out here, specifically these heathen, all right, these Edomites in particular, they do not see the Israelites controlling the earth. I mean, you got an Israelite country, Venezuela, that just got conquered in the first sign of an invasion. That was the first time the U.S. actually attacked Venezuela directly on the soil and instantly conquered it. All right, those are Israelites in Venezuela. All right, these elites of the world, of all these other nations, right, these Moabites, these Elamites, they know. The Russia, Chief Prince, they know those are Israelites, man. Got taken out like that. So these heathen, right, in the military, all right, the lesser luminaries that don't comprehend that we're the Israelites, you see, they don't see Jake rising up. Even some higher ranking heathen that know we're Israelites, they don't see us rising up, especially, okay, you so-called blacks in America, you Judites, because that's going to be the main ones that's going to rise up. And guess what? You got this dude, Andrew Tate. Again, he's a Jake, but guess what? He always likes to put down you so-called blacks, all right? He loves putting down so-called blacks and uplifting so-called whites. He's a part of this Edomite hegemony on the planet Earth. And guess what? The people most least likely to take over the world and establish laws is going to be the ones that's going to do it, and it's going to start with Yahweh. All right, I'm gonna get let's get this right here, you know, because the Most High Yahweh, He's gonna do something, man, that we don't know what it's gonna be, but we know it's gonna be something otherworldly, something vicious. The Most High Yahweh is gonna do something vicious with you so-called African Americans, you Judites. He's gonna do something so vicious it's gonna elevate these Judites above the other tribes, above Esau's capabilities. All right, to take out these devils, man. All right, let's get this Genesis, the 49th chapter. Actually, Genesis, the 48th chapter. So this is Genesis, the 48th chapter. Just to get some context, I'm gonna start from the top, verse 1, and it says Israel's last days. And it came to pass, in Israel, this is talking about Jacob, all right, whose name was changed to Israel, and he was pretty much on his deathbed. So since he was on his deathbed, he was finna pass out his blessings to the tribes. And it came to pass after these things that one told Joseph, behold, thy father is sick, and he took with him his two sons, Manasseh and Ephraim. And one told Jacob and said, behold, thy son Joseph cometh unto thee. And Israel strengthened himself and sat upon the bed. Actually, no, this is not what I wanted. All right, this is not what I wanted. But it does play, okay? It does play into Genesis 49 chapter nonetheless. All right, but bear with me for a second. Gotta look at something real quick before I continue. Salakia. All right, so let's get it. This is Genesis, the 49th chapter, Israel's prophecy concerning his sons. And Jacob called unto his sons and said, gather yourselves together, that I may tell you that which shall befall you in the last days. Are we in the last days? Yep. Is this talking about what's going to befall the Israelites in the last days? Yep. Is this talking about specifically the elect of these tribes in the last days? No. It's talking about the Israelites as a collective of each tribe. Okay? Verse 2, gather yourselves together and hear, ye sons of Jacob, and hearken to Israel your father. Because Jacob's name was changed to Israel after he fought the angel, which was Yahushai. All right, and he was putting in that work. He was having a grappling match, and then Yahushai blessed him, okay, with the name of Yasharallah, which means he Prince Power. Okay, now let's go to verse. So here's the main point I want to get right here. This is verse 8. Judah, which Judah means Yahweh. It's like an abbreviation of Yahweh Thawada, which means Yahweh thanks. Okay, which proves that who's Judah's mother? I believe it's Rebecca. That proves that Rebecca and pretty much the sons of God at the time, all right, the offspring of Adam, the descendants, this chosen seed line, they had the name Yahweh back then, because how else could they name one of the seeds of Israel Yahweh? You understand? Yahweh, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. So guess what? Something's going to happen, all right, because you so-called African Americans are not being praised by no so-called Mexicans, by no so-called Haitians, Puerto Ricans. So go down the line where they praising Judah at. You think freaking copying Judah sagging his pants and hip hop is praise? No, that's not praise. Okay, that's just mimicry. All right, let's go into that word praise. So praise means to what? To profess. All right, I mean to confess concerning oneself. To praise, celebrate. All right. So guess what? These tribes are gonna what? They're gonna celebrate the Yahweh. Why? Why are the tribes are gonna celebrate Yahweh? Here it goes. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. There you go. Who is the main primary enemy of you so-called blacks in America? The Edomites, the so-called white man. That's your main primary enemy, and he's made it blatantly obvious for the past several centuries. Anybody that doesn't, anybody that denies this blatant fact is most definitely going to be put to death. All right. Let's reread that. Yahweh, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Now, do you praise somebody inferior to you? No. All right. You don't praise. So, or you shouldn't praise somebody inferior to you. All right, because Yahweh is the head tribe. That's where King David comes out of. That's where Yahweh Shai comes out of. Okay. Yahweh, thou art he whom thy brethren shall praise. Thy hand shall be in the neck of thine enemies. So the Most High Yahweh is going to do something, even to these 2/3. All right, because this is not talking about no elect of the Yahweh, man. This is talking about the whole entire tribe of Yahweh, like it's talking about the whole entire tribe, the tribes of all the other tribes being mentioned. You understand? So guess what? Something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. All right, that's gonna turn up these so-called African Americans out here. They're gonna get turned up. Hey, and guess what? Wherever else they at, all right, wherever else they at, it could be you know, Brazil. You know, Brazil got a lot of Jakes in there, Southern Kingdom in there, and they be catching hell in Brazil too. Brazil, they discriminatory against Jake there. You know, Brazil is very similar to Babylon the Great in terms of the racial makeup. They got a lot of white, so-called whites, Hispanics, and so-called blacks there. Okay, let me continue. Thy father's children shall bow down before thee. So guess what? This is something very critical right here. All right, and you're really not going to see a lot of Israelites go into depth with this, because I've watched a lot of Israelite videos and only really came across 2 Jakes that really went into depth with this. Usually Jakes they skate around it. You know, I mean, that's the will of the Most High at the end of the day, because why else would the Most High Yahweh have all these Israelites skate around this? You know, because it'll pump you up. It'll make you pompous. It'll make you be boastful in a way. You know, so we're gonna wait and see how this is gonna play out. Because guess what? All the tribes they're gonna bow down to you so-called African Americans. And guess what? All right, it's not it's blatantly obvious that pretty much all the tribes in the nations have looked down on you so-called African Americans. All right, in the grand scheme of social hierarchy. All right, not no BS hip hop. Okay, that has no true genuine authority on the earth. In terms of social hierarchy, you so-called African Americans are at the bottom. Now, yeah, to a certain degree, with sports and all these other things, Jake is seen in a good light. But guess what? Your social economic power is the lowest out of all the other tribes. All right, and it's blatantly obvious. okay? And you see it with you see it a lot in Latin America too. You know, they got a hierarchy there. The better the race, all right. No dark skin. They wanted their skin to be paler, to mimic Esau, the oppressor. You see, in Latin America, they like the oppressor there, right? They like the oppressor, and they hate the oppressed, the most oppressed. All right. So guess what? The Most High Yahweh got something for them Jakes, them Latin Jakes down there, man. And you Haitians, okay, and you so-called Jamaicans, all right, you West Indians, all the tribes are gonna bow down to Yahweh, man. And guess what? It's gonna be through force. All right, you're not gonna just. It's not gonna be like, oh, like all the tribes are just gonna wake up one day and be like, oh, you know what? Let's go. Let's announce our inferiority to Yahweh. No, that's not gonna happen. Okay, that's not gonna happen. It's gonna be through force. It's going to be through power. Just like how Esau made Jake to be bound down to him. How did that happen? Through force, through a musket, right? Black powder, chains, cannonballs, you know, battleships. You understand? Guess what? Yahweh is going to get turned up. We're going to see how. We're going to see how. All right? Verse 8. Yahweh is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, thou art gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? Yeah, you see Jake really not trying to get busy. You know, Yahweh, they ain't trying to get busy. You know, they comfortable. Like the scriptures say. Who's gonna rouse them up? You know, ultimately it's Yahweh that's gonna rouse them up. But you know, Yahweh can use Esau, try to come after Jake, and Jake ain't with it. You know, if you look at history, that's pretty much how Yahweh was getting busy here in Babylon the Great. Esau did some BS, and then Jake is like, yeah, nah, screw this, and they riot. But guess what? What's going to happen now is going to be on a totally different level, man. Because guess what? Esau got attack helicopters. He got drones and fighter jets. So how is ultimately the elect going to get through that, right? Spiritual power. Hey, the Most High Yahweh can give a 2/3 Israelite spiritual power, and if you think that's bugging out, you think the Edomites, okay, the wicked, the literal wicked of the earth, is more justified to get spiritual power than a wicked Israelite. You're bugging the fuck out. All right, the Most High Yahweh is gonna turn up Yahweh, man, and it's made mention several times in the scriptures. Let's get this right here. What is it? Isaiah the 19th chapter. All right, and this is Isaiah the 19th chapter and verse 17. And the land of Yahweh shall be a terror unto Egypt, and everyone that maketh mention thereof shall be afraid in himself, because of the counsel of Yahweh of hosts, which you have determined against it. So how is these so-called Jakes, you so-called Judites in Babylon the Great gonna be a terror to Babylon the Great, where everybody bugging out? You know, you think it's because Jake is just gonna have a whole bunch of AR-15s? No, man, it's gonna be spiritual power. How else is Jake? How else is Yahweh going to get an advantage over everybody else? You know, it can't be a gun. A gun is an equalizer. Everybody with a gun is going to have equal capabilities. Yahweh is going to get turned up to where their physical capabilities are going to be so much higher than everybody else via spiritual power. You're going to see 2/3 out here with spiritual power. Again, you think the Edomites, the wicked, who have spiritual power, is going to be more justified for Edomite, all right, to have spiritual power, but a 2/3 Israelite, all right, or just an Israelite in general that's, you know, not even in the truth, is just out off the table? Come on, you know, use your head, okay? And this again, just me looking at this devil Andrew Tate, all right, You know, he pisses me off because he stayed talking shit about the tribes, man. He mainly talks shit about you so-called blacks in America. That's his main target. And now he's coming after the Venezuelans, which is what, I believe the tribe of Asher down there, man. Correct me if I'm wrong, but guess what? They're Israelites. All right, they're from the Northern Kingdom, and now he's talking shit. He was talking shit, trying to come after the so-called Colombians too, saying take Colombia, take all Latin America. Guess what? This is he moving like he an Edomite, man. He's moving like a Edomite, but he's obviously he's clearly a Jake. But guess what? He's moving like these damn devils, man. All right, and guess what? He gonna die. The Most High Yahweh gonna put this dude to death, bro. He don't care about no Israelites. All right, he doesn't care that he's a prince of the power. He cares about selling courses, making money off of courses, and talking crap, being pompous. And with that, shalom.